Hi everyone, I hope you had a really great weekend and were able to enjoy the nice weather outside. I also hope you learned something from last week's lesson on what a friend is and who is a trusted person or a trusted friend in your life. This is going to be learning about what an acquaintance is and how you treat an acquaintance or how an acquaintance treats you and how it fits into that traffic light poster that we've been using for the past couple of weeks. As always, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. All right, everyone, so before we go into what an acquaintance is, I just want to review really quickly what a friend is and a few things that a friend might do to you that makes them different from someone who's an acquaintance or someone who is a bully in your life. So someone who is a friend to you is in that green zone on the traffic light poster. And this person is someone who you can call and talk to about any problems you might be having, someone who could keep your secrets, someone who you have a good time with and can make you laugh, and someone who will be there for you and has your best interests at heart. This person is also to be trusted by you, and like I said before, is in that green zone on the traffic light poster. So now let's move into what an acquaintance is and where they fall on that traffic light poster, which is in the yellow zone. Alright, so I'm going to start by showing you guys a video, and I really want you to pay attention to how the two people in the video interact with one another, how they greet each other, how they treat one another, and how they talk to one another. And maybe you can start to think about how their interaction is different from an interaction with someone that you might have in the green zone. And then afterwards, we're going to discuss the video a little bit more.
Hey, how are you? I haven't seen you in a bit.
Oh, hey,
What are you doing here?
just hanging out.
I heard you moved. How's that?
It's really nice.
So, I have a question. I lost my bus pass again, and my phone's dead, and I can't call my friend. Do you think maybe I could use yours?
Of course you can.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Hey, you think you can come get me now? Thanks. Bye. Thank you so much. You're a lifesaver.
Not a problem.
Hey, text me your number so I can talk to you later.
All right,
Thanks. Bye.
bye.
Alright, so in the video with the two girls who were acquaintances, we saw that their interaction was that they knew each other a little bit, but not too much. They weren't exactly strangers, but they weren't best friends either, and that's what an acquaintance is, right in the middle. So you saw the girl, she didn't have her phone on her, and she needed to use a phone to make a phone call, so she recognized the girl on the bench, and she said, "Hey, I think I know you, can I use your phone to make a phone call?" And the other girl knew her just enough to feel comfortable with her using her phone, so she said yes. And then they continued to make a little brief, small, small talk together about how the girl was moving and she knew about it, but not too much about it. And then before she left, she said, "Hey, text me your number so you can share your phone number with me so I can save it in my phone." So this was another clue that the two of these people were just acquaintances. They just see each other here and there. They don't know each other super well because if they did, she would have already had her phone number. So it's really important to note that an acquaintance is in the yellow zone on the traffic light poster. It's someone who you see here and there, out and about. You don't know them very well. You might not know their name, and therefore you should proceed with caution, go slowly, talk to them about maybe the weather or sports or something going on, maybe a favorite TV show you have, maybe they've seen it too, but you wouldn't want to share any valuable or personal information with this person, and you really want to proceed with caution, go slow, and treat them as an acquaintance. So now let's do a check for understanding worksheet together about acquaintances. All right, you guys, here's our check for understanding acquaintance questions. So number 1, an acquaintance is usually someone I wave to or just say hi to. That is true. Someone who calls me bad names. No, so typically someone who's an acquaintance won't call you a bad name. They'll just say hello to you, maybe ask you quickly how you're doing, and then you guys will go about your day. But usually if someone calls you a bad name, they'd be considered a bully and not an acquaintance. Someone I don't usually talk to about serious things. So this is true. So usually an acquaintance is someone you just keep it short with, very brief. You make small talk with them. You might talk about the weather or a football game that happened last night, where you just say hello to them and don't exchange much conversation. So you would not talk about anything serious with an acquaintance. Someone I don't know much about. This is true. So someone who's an acquaintance you might see out and about, maybe at the mall or the movie theater, or maybe they live in your neighborhood, but usually you just know their face and maybe a few things about them, but you don't know too much about an acquaintance. An acquaintance is someone to joke around with. So I don't know if you would joke around with an acquaintance because you don't know their sense of humor, you don't know who they are, and so then I probably wouldn't joke around with someone who's just an acquaintance to you. Someone I wouldn't tell a secret to. So this is true. So an acquaintance is someone you would not tell a secret to because you don't know them very well and they don't know you very well. So therefore, you don't want to tell them anything too personal and you don't want them to know anything too personal about you either. So number 2, an acquaintance is someone I don't like to see. So usually seeing an acquaintance wouldn't bother you because you don't know them very well. They're not your close friend. They're just someone you see here and there. So I wouldn't say you wouldn't like to see them because you really don't know them very well. An acquaintance is someone with whom I may have short conversations about the weather or sports. Yes, so this is definitely someone who an acquaintance is. You might have conversations about the football game you saw or a basketball game that's on TV, or maybe if it's been snowing outside recently, you might have short, brief conversations about things like that with an acquaintance. An acquaintance is someone who tries to help me with when I have a problem. No, so someone who tries to help you when you have a problem is someone who's a friend or a trusted adult in that green zone, not someone who is in the yellow zone like an acquaintance is. Someone who may not know my name but sees me around. So this is true. So an acquaintance is someone who may not know your name, but they know your face, they see you here and there, and they say hello to you, but they may not exactly know your name, and you might not know their name either. So an acquaintance is someone who lies to me. So I'm not going to highlight that because usually if someone lies to you, there's a reason behind it, and an acquaintance wouldn't lie to you because, when you see an acquaintance, you don't really talk about much, and there's not much you can lie about. So the last one is an acquaintance is someone who makes fun of me. So this is not true either because if someone makes fun of you, they are not going to be considered an acquaintance. They are going to be considered a bully. So an acquaintance would not make fun of you. So just to go over the check for understanding acquaintance questions, an acquaintance is someone you usually just say hi or wave to, someone you don't usually talk to about serious things with, someone you don't know much about, someone that you would not tell a secret to, someone with whom you may have short conversations with about the weather or sports or other small topics of conversation. And lastly, an acquaintance is not someone who has to know your name, but they just see you around and you just see them around. So those are our check for understanding acquaintance questions. All right, so just to go over it one more time after that check for understanding worksheet, an acquaintance is somebody a person knows slightly, but who is not a close friend. And they fall in that yellow zone on the traffic light poster that we've been going over for the past couple of weeks. All right, you guys, that's all I have for you today. I hope you were able to learn a little bit about what an acquaintance is and how it's different from someone who is in that green zone, who you trust, and who's your friend or a trusted adult. Next, we're going to be moving on to the red light on the traffic light poster and talk about people who are bullies or people who may not treat you very well in your life. As always, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Thanks so much, and I'll see you guys next week.